Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, big shout out to the supporters. First and foremost, WCS is back on deck. What's good? Salute to the first in the building. XO Factory on deck. He said, OGWCS, I'm on deck, big bro. These Spence fans hate. Let's emphasize an underscore and goddamn put the shit in air quotes. Hate that Bud out here making boss moves in these boxing streets. They hate it. They hate it. They despise of it. Stick 'em boys, fishing and sports on deck. Salute to you. WCS, salute chat fam. Salute to you. Stick 'em boys, fishing and sports in the building. Alexander, what up? WCS, what up with it, Alexander? Lil Flex Lewis, salute to you on deck. Salute to everyone that showed up. That's on deck supporting the channel. Hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If you really support, we're gonna break down some things, of course. I was gonna really come on here on this Monday and kind of set some brush fires a little bit. But I said, if I do that on Monday, it might burn throughout the entire week. And then I have people submitting paperwork on me for being an arsonist. I'm looking at all the material now. Okay, I'm listening. I'm looking, I'm reading. I'm seeing all the freaking negativity that's out here on this black man. And look, people, we're on the eve of February. MLK birthday came and went in January, but we're about to go into this month where a lot of us grew up and it was called Black History Month. And then some of y'all, that's the first time you ever knew about your history to begin with. But, staying on topic, we're about to go over here. We're about to transition to the second month of the first semester of 2023 in the Black History Month. And we still have these black false prophets hating on the pound for pound best, Terrence Bud Crawford. I'm telling you, I cannot explain it to you any more in depth. They are absolutely hating once again. They love when WCS speak about it. But one thing about it, one thing you know for sure, that I'm going to keep addressing it and hold y'all false prophet accountable. You know what I'm saying? You should be held accountable for that rhetoric that you're putting out there. You know what I'm saying? You speak a pseudology. You know what a pseudology is? The falsehood of speech, the act of lying. That's what I look at these errolsexuals as doing. They love to make thumbnails. Any move that Crawford make in this boxing game, it's not enough. It's not enough to settle their minds and calm them down. You know what I'm saying? So they can live a carefree evening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, relax. No, they up here talking about what Terrence Bud Crawford is doing once again. And he keeps winning. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, a.k.a. Hot Grease on deck. You already know Mr. Sucker Free in the building. You already know. What's good? So, we're going to get down to some checkmate. Crawford proves his adroitness in meeting with Golden Boy Promotions. Now, if you haven't really been checking out the live that I did, um, over the last, several months on this Bud Crawford hate and all the insanity that exists with all his naysayers, the ones who's going around here carrying the torch, and they continue to like that shit and protest in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Trying to bring more people to their falsehood. They steadily lying on the black man. See, I understand what it was when Deontay Wilder was going through this. You're talking about a man who was undefeated with 42-0. It's no more that he could do. He done laid out everybody on his resume, but it still wasn't enough. So Deontay Wilder takes some time off. He comes back, fight Robert Helenius, but he won a trilogy with the best, one of the best heavyweights in the sport. Still, when he comes back and get full throttle and he fights a good name, they'll return and start talking about him too. But one thing about it though, the errolsexuals, it's funny because a lot of them has been told to stand down on Deontay Wilder by their master. You know what I'm saying? Their master told them, hey, Deontay Wilder's on our side. So let's not hear any negative live streams, okay? But for Bud, he's off limits. I mean, he's on par. Errol-Spence is off limits. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to break some things down on what I'm hearing out here, because if you're looking at the most infamous picture that's out there right now, it's this right here. You have three legends in the same frame. Two who are Hall of Famers. I'm talking about Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins. They have cemented their legacy. They have did everything they're supposed to do in their boxing careers. You know what I'm saying? So for Crawford to basically travel to the front door of Golden Boy Promotions, which we don't see too many brothers that's going over there to try to place himself in a position of success. We all know right now that Crawford, in order for him to have it much more, feasible moving forward, he needed a promoter. We know that. We know that watching Crawford fight in the ring, when he's presented with something that's agitating him, or a problem or a situation that he needs to adjust, or he needs to find some way around it, he's been known to make expedient adjustments. And that one adjustment was he was able to go to BLK Prime this late in his career and fight David Avanesian and get paid handsomely. I applaud him. I applaud you, brother. I applaud you. You know why I applaud you? Because they always speak about how boxing is a business, but they don't want Crawford to do any business. Now, listen to what I just said. This is so trifling. These individuals are so trifling, bro. They will get on here and talk money, 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 money. The only fighter that you ever hear them mention that they don't want to ever be a part of the business aspect of boxing is Terrence Crawford. They'll sit up here and put all these numbers on what they rehearsed and what a fighter can make here, and what the numbers of what happened at the door, who's a pay-per-view, what the price point should be, everything. They're telling you everything what the numbers should be. It's funny how these trifling individuals, right, these incompetent naysayers, they'll sit up here and talk business and try to sound as if they are astute game players. They're on teams. People are hiring in the sport of boxing. They act like they are a part of everything that makes boxing go round and round, but they're not. Everybody can do business and everybody can talk numbers except Terrence Crawford. He cannot talk numbers ever. Every time when it comes to the business of boxing, they want this man to go out here and starve. Let me get to the chat. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. Salute to you. Tehran on deck. Salute. In the building. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, Mr. Sucker Free himself. Refresh the chat and hit the like button. Appreciate you, my brother. One love as always. Thank you. Much appreciated. $20 in the building from Mr. Gumbo, aka Mr. Hot Grease himself. Stay sucker free all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Stay sucker free. Bud definitely his own boss. Spence ain't making no moves. Keep reminding them to run. Keep reminding them. So this is what I want to get about. This is what I want to make people aware of when it comes to Bud Crawford. We already know the record. We already know all the past garbage that's been spewed all over 2022. I mean, they still doing cleanup. They still doing cleanup in 2022 with this garbage. I'm not really going down that road. You know what I'm saying? That's why I remind people, like, I listen to the channels that are Crawford haters. I pay attention. You know what I'm saying? I pay attention because when you have individuals that come over here on the ghost accounts, or you meet certain individuals on other channels, their panel and everything like this, you can kind of get a feel of who they are and where all this is coming from. Even if it's not the person channel that you heard it on, you can know if somebody's been listening to their channel. I'm serious. That's how of a cult-like group of dummies exist. All they do is just put their heads together and they walk around in a circle and they make the sound, the same sound like that. Bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? It's just sheeps moving around in the damn circle of motion over and over again, waiting for more information. The same freaking information. They mad once again that Terrence Crawford is his own man. Why would anybody make a post or a live or a thumbnail about Terrence Crawford being his own boss? Why would you pretend like he's doing something that's unnatural to boxing? You're trying to pretend like no other boxer is now affiliated with a promotion. This man has fought I'm talking about one autonomous fight. One. He's fought a single fight without a promoter, y'all. And he multitasked in his effort. He was multitasking. In the process, he was trying to get Errol-Spence. He was trying to lock that down. He was finding what it is to be without your entire tactical team. He had to bring a squad in there instead of a whole battalion. And what he found out when he did the site survey, it might have been a little bit tougher. Why? Because of the resistance from which he was trying to go. He was trying to go over there to PBC and lock in the fight. But it's been well documented that PBC is having issues. They're having issues. Oh, y'all don't know what issues we're talking about? Let me go to my faithful, online guy, Mr. Rick Glaser's tweet that he put out. I know a lot of people have love for Rick Glaser. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love putting up Rick Glaser's tweets. Rick Glaser said, rumors abound PBC is out of money, solely being kept afloat by Showtime. Solely being kept afloat by Showtime. Recently, Adrian Broner said negative things about PBC. Now, Deontay Wilder comes out and says the PBC is very slow. SLOW. SLOW and pan him from his fight with Robert Helenius. Say it ain't so, shawty. Bronze Bomber, say it ain't slow. Say it ain't slow. Come on, Bronze Bomber, say it ain't slow. How can your fight with Robert Helenius not be fully compensated yet when these errolsexuals out here complaining about Bud Crawford going into an organization that was worth $5 million? I mean, you can't make this shit up. They was more worried about an organization being worth $5 million. which was absolutely false. They wasn't even worried about the sport anymore. They busy worried about defamation, smear campaigns. It's almost like Crawford was running for office in the sport of boxing. But he was still able to go over there in his backyard in Omaha, Nebraska, pack the house out, earn a 6-round stoppage, get paid, get PA-8, get PA-8, paid on time, and he kept it moving. But the Bronze Bomber, one of the most prolific heavyweight champions of this era, right? He's on record as saying PBC is very slow in paying him from his fight with Robert Helenius. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Shout out to the Bronze Bomber. Shout out to you for putting that information out there, because now y'all can't sit up here and disrespect Adrian Broner because you say he's just going through financial woes and you don't want to give that man respect for knowing the insides and the outsides of boxing. Now you have the Bronze Bomber speaking out about it. A fight where people was up here criticizing him too, but they refused to give him his total respect by going in there fighting a trilogy with Tyson Fury. And he was paid very well. But why hasn't PBC made him whole after fighting Robert Helenius? Back to Terrence Crawford, though. Oh, this is the next dark-skinned black man. See, Deontay Wilder's in favor of these same errolsexual groups. They'll talk very well about Deontay Wilder. But when it comes to Terrence Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska, it's all a smear campaign. So let's talk about what they said about Terrence Crawford going over the Golden Boy, and he's about to find another easier opponent. C-level, as they call it, y'all. They call it C-level. Terrence Crawford is going over here to Golden Boy to fight a C-level opposition. Now I'm about to break some shit down to you only WCS can do. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to break some shit down and peel back some layers. So we're gonna get past all the crud. You know what I'm saying? We passed the index. This Crawford-Spence book, the index is there, but we ain't worried about the fucking index. We're worried about the important chapters that are being written. You know what I'm saying? By Terrence Crawford. Because truth be told, Errol Spence is not doing absolutely anything at all right now that fight fans are ranting and raving about. They're not. So let's talk about the elephant that's been stumping around the room. We know that Terrence Crawford is the most talked about fighter on the YTC. We know he's the most hated fighter amongst black extremists that's on the YTC. Yeah. We put them in the same group as the people that are pretending like when they see this man in public, they will want to cause him harm. They speak so damningly about this dude, but they fail to recognize how smart he is as a businessman, as an independent contractor. Very, very smart. Because these same people was bickering, bitching and moaning and crying and blowing snot bubbles when he was at Top Rank. He sit up there on camera, right? And let Bob Arum knows that if you couldn't get me to fight while I was with you, get me this fight while I was with you, you're not going to be able to get me to fight when I'm not with you, right? So he left. And yeah, some things went down. It's unimportant, right? But these individuals was busy calling this man Top Rank Toby. The terms that are resonated in an environment of civility where my ancestors suffered. But yet, they rolling over in their graves because we have these bumbling idiots that care nothing about their history. They're sitting up here excoriating a black man at any given time, right? This man leaves and they try to say this man is under investigation for being associated with MTK Global. Now we have Josh Taylor's. You know what I'm saying? They don't say nothing about Josh Taylor being associated with that. You know what I'm saying? They don't say anything about Tyson Fury, who probably has the most pictures with Daniel Cunningham. They don't say nothing about that because he has the complexion and he's being protected. But they try to bring false defamatory news out to the public that Crawford was being investigated for being associated with MTK Global. Now, look, when MTK Global was active and no one was really caring about, because the news haven't came out about this bounty and that, they was on to this guy. I'm not going to make it about him. But people wasn't really saying too much. They wasn't identifying the other fighters, but they choose to put Crawford's name as the forefront to make him the poster child, to further smear his name. It's despicable. I'm not gonna lie. It's extremely despicable. It's trifling. Not only that, he hit left Top Rank, and now it's all about an investigation. I thought you wanted him to go to PBC. I thought you wanted him to go see the Black Emperor. The man goes and let it be known he's trying to make a fight with Errol Spence Jr. and see the Grand Poobah, the Black Emperor of boxing promotions. And all we hear is continuing rhetoric. You remember earlier when I talked about boxing as a business, except if your name is Terrence Crawford? That holds very, very true. Everybody can do business. Everybody can be talking about money. Everybody can be praised, other fighters. They was praising the shit out of Caleb Plant. Oh, man, he got his bag. Good for him. Jake Paul, salute you. Oh, man, Jake. Logan, salute, man. We love you. We love you, Jake and Logan. We love you. What you're doing with MVP promotion, we love you. You don't know how much we love you. Thanks for opening up the gates of boxing and giving us a brighter light of hope. Thank you, Paul brothers. Thank you. But when it comes to dang Terrence Crawford, he can't do no business. I was sitting back here thinking, I was like, it would be awesome to see what they have to say after they're praising Jake Paul, right? They're praising everything he got going on. This man is an influencer over at PFL right now, the Professional Fighting League. He's doing big things, right? He's supposed to allegedly have a fight set up with Tommy Fury. I was saying to myself, what if Terrence Crawford signed with MVP Promotions? I wonder how quickly would that same praise that they was giving them evaporate. I know Crawford wouldn't have went over there and signed with MVP Promotions or nothing like that. But it was just, it was one of those thoughts that was frolicking across my thought process. I said, man, I wonder if Crawford would have went over there to MVP Promotions, would they still hold true to that praise that they're giving him for igniting boxing, for injecting boxing with all this dang glamour? You know what I'm saying? With all this love, injecting life back into the sport, so to speak. I wonder if Crawford would have been over there and they made the announcement or took a picture with Crawford, would they have been praising them the same way they've been praising them? I don't think so. So now it brings us to the frame of all frames, y'all. The talk of all talks. This man is lined up at Golden Boy Promotions for potentially a multi-fight deal. And then I'm saying, well, the same people that I'm listening to these dang live streams, the haters, right? The everyday haters. They was complaining about Terrence Crawford going over to PBC, not having a promoter. They were sitting up here laying out every piece of evidence possible. They say, what did he think? Look how stupid he is. He went over there as an independent contractor with no promoter, and he expect to negotiate one of the biggest fights in boxing. This is one of the biggest fights in boxing. But then they was ignoring everything else that he was doing without a promoter. He was making the effort, y'all. He was making an effort to give the fans what they wanted. Crawford was providing you with an effort, an action to let you know that he was trying to fight Errol Spence Jr. This is without Bob Arum now. He put in countless hours, which turned to weeks and months. He put that work in to go up against the Grand Poobah, the Black Emperor, and Al Heyman, because Errol Spence wasn't nowhere in the proximity. Let's be clear. But he attempted to put 100% effort into giving you all, the fight fans, this fight. What did PBC do? They made it extremely difficult, impossible. Floyd Mayweather was on record twice. Floyd Money Mayweather, who said that he is a shaker and a mover. Him and Al Heyman talk every day. He pretty much told the public he has say-so in the decisions that go on over there. I believe him. I absolutely believe him. Because whenever Floyd Mayweather want to make a fight date, on the same day of whoever he chooses to be a part of they fight weekend, to take away the glory, he does it. Floyd Mayweather was on record as saying, fight ain't happening. The fight ain't happening. What did the errolsexuals do? They ignored it. They ignored what Timothy Smith presented to us the first semester of 22. They ignored Floyd Mayweather and what he was putting out there. They ignored everything, bro. Certified player on deck. What's good? Boxing conversation with Reggie Owen. What's good? Juice Lee on deck. Salute. Tennessee's 87. What's good? On deck. Blunt said Crawford fighting Rocha is like him walking in the bank and they just open the vault and give him money. Easy payday. See, you on that common sense type of energy right there now. You on that common sense type of energy, Blunts. Don't be so common with the sense, man. Don't be so simple. Don't keep it basic, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's basic truth you just said. Shout out to Cal, the boxing section TBS on deck. Salute to you. IB, who IB on deck. WCS salute OG, hope all is well. Same to you, IB. Good to see you on deck in the building there, IB. You already know. Toby Bartlett. Shout out to Across the Pond. You already know. Dan on deck. Salute. Pop on deck in the building. So let's talk about the opponents. So what I've been hearing is the same vitriol that makes nothing any different than what it was in 2022, right? Floyd Mayweather's pretty much been on record, one of the best to ever do it. He's pretty much been on record and made it perfectly clear the fight wasn't happening. But the errolsexuals, who are part of the asylum, we're talking about individuals who walk around in straitjackets for fun. You know what I'm saying? No helmet. They want to take the blunt force of the impact. They're walking around here in straitjackets in the traffic, getting ran the fuck over from the truth. That's why they go around here acting so delusional. Floyd Mayweather told you all the fight wasn't happening, but you continue to want to place the blame on Crawford. With all the hate that he's receiving on YouTube, it still did not prohibit him from walking through those doors in Omaha, Nebraska, and earning 8 figures. That is fact. All the hate and all the disdain didn't stop that man from making his money. Clap it up. Clap it up. Shrewd businessman when it comes to boxing. They want to talk about the guarantee that he was making at top rank. Talk about the 8 figures he made over there at BOK. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to talk about any numbers because y'all gonna fluff, y'all gonna erase. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna always distort the numbers. We don't care about that. That win goes on his record the same way it did before and before that and before that. You can't do shit about it. I'm just here to let you know you can't do shit about it. Moving forward though, right? He goes to BLK Prime. He goes on a mission after knocking out David Evanesian to get the fight, goes over there to PBC. They don't want the fight. They truly don't want the fight. We see Errol Spence out here in public. He's not in shape. He's overweight. It's proven that he's overweight. There was a lot of variables going on behind the scene that it's no way, no how Errol Spence could have ever made the fight. It's not a point in time that anyone's seen him out there training with his shirt off, letting people know he was in shape, to step in there with the pound for pound monster, Terrence Bud Crawford. Nobody. The errolsexuals didn't see it. And the Bud supporters, we wasn't even looking for it. All we was waiting on is official announcement that somehow, some way, the fight was going to be made. But PBC ruined it. YTC, they ruined it. You know why? Because that's what they wanted. They were supposedly talking about how this fight was supposed to be the biggest in boxing, but the only thing they did was criticize it, talk down on it, devalue. They call themselves boxing fanatics, y'all. These dummies call themselves boxing fanatics. The individuals that goes up here and display their incompetence on a regularity. They're talking about this supposed to be the biggest fight in boxing between 2 black men, but yet all they did was crucify one of them. All they did. The blasphemy never stopped. It was crucifixion after crucifixion. They just tried to hang this man on the cross. It wasn't about boxing then. It was just about them just speaking down on Terrence Crawford. It wasn't about his skills. It wasn't about Errol Spence skills. It was just about them spreading as much agitprop as possible. They did nothing to encourage this fight to happen in PBC. You notice that? These errolsexuals never changed up their tune during the negotiations. They never switched up their tune. What I mean by switching up their tune, they never start to actually try to clean it up and beautify the matchup and say, okay, let's talk about some positivity, being that we know they're in negotiations. They were still down here sitting on the toilet, reaching their damn hand down in there, squeezing shit all day, rubbing it all over them so they can get acclimated to the funk, because they love that, man. They was even goddamn taking some of it and sticking their tongue out, putting on the end of their tongue just to keep the taste buds, you know what I'm saying, acquired. It was an acquired taste. But after a while, they say you eat enough shit, you start to talk a lot of shit. And people know because they smell shit from a distance. That's what these errolsexuals was doing. They didn't clean up anything. They didn't want to talk positive about this fight. All they wanted to do is keep on talking down on Bud the entire time. They never wanted to fight themselves. If you ever want to witness a group of ducks in the YTC Prime, you actually witnessed it in 2022. You know how they talk about you know how they always talk about the ugly ducklings? And that ugly duckling always be a black duckling or brown duckling. That's what you're seeing in 2022. All these ducks were swimming in the same pond because they did not want to fight. You can't sit up here and convince the public that you are advocating and on here creating content for the biggest fight in boxing, but you choose to sit up here and vilify one half of that matchup. But you call yourself supporting PBC? Y'all are brainless at the end of the day. You call yourself supporting PBC and certain fighters is at PBC, but yet when Crawford went over to PBC to attempt to negotiate with your idol, your mentor, he went over there and attempt to do it without a promoter. You never switched up your energy. So that tells me you're a duck, just like Errol Spence is a duck, but you just a little bit uglier. You were sitting up here frauding. That's what you was doing. You was talking a lot of BS, pretending like you was a true boxing fanatic. Y'all dudes up here want to spit these numbers all out. No, what about clear, concise content? If you wanted the fight to happen, you would have cleaned up your act a little bit. You would have put some vitality to it. You would have been a bit jovial every now and then. But no, they was angry, y'all. These dudes was malicious. All they wanted to do is talk about angry shit over and over again. They some of the most agitated fans in the entire YTC, bro. You're talking about an independent contract who has released himself from a promoter to go over there to their mentor, their emperor, their god, Xerxes. They went over there to see the man being carried on, his own carriage by slaves. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to kneel before him. Crawford went over there to make the biggest fight in boxing, and you all never switched up your energy, not one bit. You never switched up your energy one bit. You never meant to be positive. Floyd Mayweather said himself that the fight wasn't happening, but you continue to blame Terrence Crawford for the fight not happening. Floyd is a much larger role than anybody when it comes to two pairs of gloves. When you're talking about two gloves, right? When you're talking about boxing history. Nobody's name right now get bigger than Floyd Mayweather. And not even him, not only his words will sway you to say, you know what, the fight ain't happening because Floyd Mayweather said it ain't happening. But yet you want to keep your focus on Terrence Crawford in the shadows. Y'all continue to stand in the shadows and criticize this man. So let's get on the opposition, because they say Terrence Crawford is fighting C-level opposition, right? Let me give you a reality check, people, on some shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a reality check on what they don't want to mention. So they say Terrence Crawford is fighting C-level fighters. That is the only reason that he is attempting to enter the Golden Boy Gateway. He want to go over there and fight C-level opposition. Listen to me now. Once again, we talking about grown-ass adults now. We talking about grown-ass adults that always want to talk about channel numbers and subscribers and all this other shit, right? They don't never want to let it go. It's all about subscribers and it's all about viewers. Okay, viewers just tuned in. The W says, listen to what I'm about to tell you. So this man is going over there, a person who has stopped his entire level, his roster, his class of opposition at welterweight. He has stopped them all. All of a sudden, he hasn't ran into any adversity to the point to make him question, should he be going forward in his career? He's still running on diesel fuel, right? So he's saying, I can't go to PBC. Like a lot of people, I don't want to go over there. I don't want to sign a PBC. I want to get paid on time. I want to be able to fight who I fight. Because when you're in Terrence Crawford's position, he's a three-weight champion, former undisputed. Once again, it is not his t-shirt that he's trying to wear for undisputed. Been there, done that. He already got his t-shirt. It's Errol Spence's quest to wear that t-shirt. And he's failed. Errol Spence Jr. has failed to get the t-shirt, people. He's failed to have that on his resume. His box rec may never depict undisputed because they're too afraid to put him in the ring with Terrence Crawford. For all of you that's in the chat that's giving me the same septic tank narratives, right? The same putrid. You know what I'm saying? The defecation, the fecal matter. You know, when you up there seething and foaming at the mouth and that drool is brown instead of white, listen to me. Listen to me. Just pay attention. Just pay attention. That's all I want you to do. Just pay attention. Terrence Crawford has given you everything possible that he was able to do within a single fight, and you all didn't appreciate it. You wanted that man to sign a multi-fight deal, and a lot of you just wanted to see him sign with PBC and get locked into a contract. A lot of you out here just wanted to see him sit on his hands and not make money for his family and be out the ring and age him out. Because he would have been definitely going on a year and a half if he would have not been as smart, as intelligent as he is, and took that David Avanesian fight. If he would have been the fool and put all his dependence on Errol-Spence, who's out here in intersections, you know, with a 14-year-old stunt driver, he's probably going to get an Oscar for that. If he would have waited and that situation happened, then it would have been somehow, some way, okay, can I scramble? I got my mandatory here. It would have been all messed up. The calendar would have been all messed up. The window would have been too short. Him fighting in December last year was absolutely perfect. It sat him just outside of a year. And then it proved to you all that was hoping he get aged out. It made you just go back in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And punch the shadows and shit. It forced y'all back into darkness, man. Into the shadows. Y'all was absolutely upset that that man went in there and made money for himself. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all act like y'all need some medication or something in this YTC community. They say C-level fighters, bro. So let's break down the C-level fighters. Because Errol-Spence supposedly is going to step in there with Keith Thurman, right? Supposedly, allegedly, Errol-Spence is going to step in there with Keith Thurman. Now let's go down the timeline, because they say Terrence Crawford, David Avanesian, he was a bum. They made all these aliases up. We understand. That's what shitty content creators do. They just sit up here and put homoerotic, they put up insults, they make up all these disclaimers trying to discourage the fighter that they choose to, right? Which is Bud Crawford. So now they're talking about he's going to Golden Boy to fight C-level fighters. So let's talk about good old Keith Thurman. We want to really highlight Operation Charlie, C-level fighters, right? He's supposed to be fighting Keith No Time Thurman. Keith Thurman is 30 victories in, 1 defeat, and 22 knockouts. But his resume is much more muddy waters than you think. It's much more contaminated than you think. And these fools are not even talking about Keith Thurman. They're not even talking about Keith Thurman right now. We're talking about Crawford, who has been consistent, staying active, and going in here stopping his opposition. Let's talk about good old Keith Thurman. Let's go back to good old 2015, y'all. Back in July 11, 2015, Keith Thurman fought Luis Collazo. I have to put this up on the screen. Shout out to Martin King Boxing on deck. Shout out to Expert Genius. Shout out to all y'all that's on deck. So let's go up here and share Keith Thurman's. Information can be bored unless it's the Terrence Crawford, hate parade that's going around. Just sit back and listen a little bit. It's all good. It's all good. So let's I was waiting to take this comment down. I'm about to break some shit down to you now. It's gonna make you even more upset. It's gonna be disturbing to a lot of, but they're saying Terrence Crawford is gonna basically walk out his career and fight C-level fighters. But yet, I need to take it upon the name that they're not talking about. They just refuse to talk. They just want to let this man away with a therapeutic exemption. Thurman. Let's go back to 2015, right? July 11, 2015, he fought Luis Collazo. Luis Collazo, man, 36 victory and 6 defeats. He stopped him in the 7th round. That's Keith Thurman. Now, he was stepped back in the ring, y'all, and faced Sean Porter right here in June of 2016. This man faced Sean Porter and won a unanimous decision, bro. Give it up for him. He went from Luis Collazo and he somehow upgraded to Sean Porter. Do you know how many days in between that was? 350 days. Bro. This fight was contended at welterweight, right? This is supposed to be the guy that Errol Spence is supposed to be stepping through the ropes with next. The reason why I'm highlighting this unified champion is they're speaking for fight and C levels. But can an A-level fighter become a D-level fighter? Absolutely. We're about to see it right here. So from 2016, June of 2016, Sean Garcia, right? From Sean Porter did from 2016 to March 4th, 2017. He won a split decision against Danny Garcia. Also took a belt that Danny Garcia had won fighting Robert Guerrero for the vacant WBC title, right? 252 days from the time he fought Sean Porter to the time he stepped in there with Danny Garcia. Jesus. Let's keep it moving to 2019. Let's go to 2019, right? January 26, 2019. He goes from Danny Garcia, a champion, to fight Josecito Lopez. Okay? As you see down here, Lopez was down in round 2. Let's look at the record of Josecito Lopez. 36-7. But yet they say Crawford is fighting C-level fighters. Nobody on Crawford's welterweight resume deserves distinguished recognition because he's did nothing. That's what they say, right? So he goes up here from March 4th, 2017 to January 26, 2019. And he fights Josecito Lopez, who has 36 victories, 7 defeats. Do you want to know how many days in between fights? Oh, let me just moonwalk back a little bit. Out of 2015, he had what? 2 fights in 2015. He had 1 fight in 2016. He had 1 fight in 2017. So he goes from Danny Garcia up the whole Lopez, right? You want to know how many days there was? 693 days. That's including the fight date itself, right? 693 days. 693 days, y'all. He went from Danny Garcia March 2017 to January. Josecito Lopez, 36 victories, 7 defeats. One fight. One fight. We're talking about 2016, 2017, 1 fight, and then goes to 2019. Now it gets a little interesting, right? He goes from Josecito Lopez up to Manny Pacquiao, the 8th division champion, future Hall of Famer. A lot of stuff that was going on. He was at the casino late. You know what I'm saying? You know, AB said he had to tell him to leave the casino because he was up there, you know, whatever Thurman was doing, eating freaking chocolate covered sprinkle sundaes when he has a big fight coming up, right? January 2019 to July 2019. Much more shorter window, right? Right? Much more shorter window. 175 days. That's an active fighter right there. Finally, we get a closer window from January 2019 to July 2019. He loses a split decision to Manny Pacquiao. Okay? Let's go from this big vacation. All right, big vacation to the infamous. They're trying to put this man as an A-level fighter right now. They busy putting all their focus on Crawford, C-level fighters, but yet this is a D-level fighter right now. They know it is because every time his name come up, they don't have nothing positive say. This man go from July 2019, y'all, from fighting Manny Pacquiao, taking a split decision loss, to stepping in the ring, right, with the junior welterweight former world champion Mario Barrios. Wow. You know what, Crawford? As we have these conversations, I'm like, damn, why can't you get a lightweight to come up? Why can't you get a super welterweight? I know it was rumor mill that you wanted to fight Josh Taylor. Why can't you get this privilege? Keith Thurman goes from July 2019 and come back and fight February 2022. You want to know how many days that was in between that? 931 days, y'all. 931 days, y'all. He steps in there and fight a former super lightweight world champion, Mario Barrios, and he goes the distance. But they're talking about Crawford fighting a C-level fighter before he even steps in there. They're up here bigging up Alexis Rocha and Virgil Ortiz when neither one of them is ready. But let's stick to the damn spreadsheet, right? July 2019 to February 2022 hosts 931 days. He steps in there with the former WBA regular champion. His first fight, Mario Barrios moves up to welterweight and gets his first fight with a former unified champion. Why can't Terrence Crawford get that privilege? Why can't he be celebrated? Why can't the Chavo happen in Omaha, Nebraska? Why isn't the respect resonating across the board? That's all I'm saying. Mario Barrios, Mikey Garcia, they're able to come and go as they please when it was their time. Boom. Mario steps up and gets Keith Thurman and goes the distance. Nobody's saying nothing. But you're talking about C-level, 931 days for a total of 2,401 days. From 2015 all the way up to 2022, this man has been out 2,401 days. That is what you call an A-level fighter right there. You want to know something else? Outside of that July 2015 fight date, if you want to talk about the Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Josecito Lopez, Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios, we talking about 5 fights, y'all. 5 fights in 2,401 days. 5 fights in 2,401 days. And they want to talk about Crawford fighting C-level fighters. They want to talk about Crawford fighting C-level fighters. When once again, if Errol Spence is to fight Keith Thurman would have been out the ring approximately a year and a half again. Damn year and a half again, right? So if you do the percentage of 5 fights in 2,401 days, it comes up to 0.21%. 0.21%. That is amazing. Let's clap it up and congratulate that A-level standard. That is what you call an A-level standard right there. A former unified champion who has missed a total of 2,401 days, y'all, had a total of 5 fights with a fight percentage of 0.21% from his last fight, July 2015, all the way up to February 2022. That is absolutely disturbing. It's crazy that they don't talk because they don't even want to talk about anything Errol Spence got going on. The D-level fighter. This man has been fighter. He's just been chilling, stemming over years upon years. They want to talk about, oh well, Keith Thurman, he's been out approximately 3 years already, huh? He had how many fights? 1 fight in the last 3 years. They just speak about that shit as if it's natural, y'all. This is a former unified champion who's been out the ring, and that's who Errol Spence is gonna fight. And he fought last April. The man haven't even been out the ring a year yet. He's about to fight another guy who's been inconsistent, inactive. And I just gave you the numbers. 5 fights. And if you want to subtract the fight date itself, it comes up to 2,395 days. It's still extremely high, right? Extremely high. So y'all should really take in consideration what information you choose to speak on, what fighter you choose to be selective about with that information. If you're hardcore boxing fans, you should speak on it across the board, mano a mano, about the same fighter. But y'all ain't trying to damn make the fight. You know what I'm saying? You got a D-level fighter right here in Keith Thurman. The man's been out the ring a hell of a lot. You know what I'm saying? A hell of a lot. In the last several years, since July 2015 up to 2022 and still 2023. We waiting for him to come back to the ring. By the time he step in there with Spence, he would be going damn near a year and a half. You think it's not going to be any ring rust? Just because he went in there with Mario Barrios? He gets no credit for Barrios. Y'all said it yourselves. I listened to your lives. He gets no credit for Barrios. So if you watched Keith Thurman fight Mario Barrios and he gets no credit for Barrios, how the hell are you not up here speaking about Spence fighting Keith Thurman? His last opponent never had a fight at welterweight, but you all are not sitting up here talking on that. You're not speaking on it because that's what cowards do. They remain silent. If it's truth, they remain silent, man. They don't want to speak on it. That's what cowards do. Right here. This is fact. Keith Thurman is not even a C-level fighter right now. People don't even know what he is. He was up here talking the talk, but they didn't give a damn about Keith Thurman. He started putting out little videos here and there, put some reels out of him working out. How did that work out for you? Because you was doing that last year. How did it work out for you when you found out that Errol Spence was busy out here having another accident? He wasn't going to fight till damn April or June. How did that work out for you, Keith? A person who's been inactive since 2015, July 2015, a total of 2,401 days to include the fight day. That is crazy. That is absolutely to taint the eyesight of those who's tuned in. Because if I keep that box rec up there too long, people are just going to start to run away. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to some of these people in the chat. Shout out to everyone that's on deck. Exactly on the TKOs, KOs, and UDs. The hate they have is crazy for a nigga who is absolutely flawless every time he steps in the ring. You know what hate is. Cooking with Sir Senior, salute to you. You know what hate is, man. They love, it comes natural. I'm saying if it's the biggest fight in boxing, why don't y'all have anything positive to say about these two brothers? Martin King Boxing said Ortiz should be a fight. 2023, 2 fights, Golden Boy times Blair, off Roach and Ortiz. Ortiz should be a fight 2023. Oh, you talking about Crawford fighting Ortiz. And then 2 fights, Golden Boy. I'm not even going to mention Blair right now. That dude's on a cease and desist. You know what I'm saying? Expert Genius say, "Oh, is Bud boss right now?" Hey, so, you know, people are just not going to get airplay like they believe over here like that. I know the ones who stop in. I appreciate the ones who's tuned in tonight to listen to the content. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everyone that's in the building. Appreciate that, Johnson TBBF. Salute to you on deck. I'm not ranting at all, bro. I'm not dropping vulgarity, any obscenities, aspersions, any type of malicious language. I'm not doing any of that. Respect it. Respect that I can have a dialogue. You know what I'm saying? If it's dialogue intensive, you know what I'm saying? Interaction with my listeners instead of you over here bickering about something that makes no sense, bro. You have every opportunity to find an escape route. I'm not going to be the crossing guard for you. I'm not going to sit up here and point to that exit up there and say, hey, you can get off that exit and make a U-ey and head back the way you came from. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. I just want you to be grown enough to know that you have options. If you choose to be in the chat, be in the chat. Listen, Expert Genius say mandate has nothing to do with the fight at 154. And it was Spence that petitioned for that. Listen to Expert Genius. Very, very solid point. But you know, I didn't mention the fight. I didn't mention the fight at 154 because it's pointless. It's pointless. I wanted to mention the fighter because they're talking about Crawford fighting C-level fighters, but Keith Thurman has been out an astronomical amount of days since July 2015. That was one of the years that he fought several times, and then in 2019 he fought a couple of times. But still, the amount of days of inactivity is crazy that they would still consider him an A-level fighter. They're not even criticizing Errol-Spence for taking a tougher competition. They're not doing anything. They're not even speaking on this dude. He's just able to go and come and he please. And people want to talk about in defense of his TikTok video, supposedly, and what his girl put out there. They rather sit up here and defend a stripper, right? That he met while he was in a relationship with somebody else. But this is public record. I'm not Dr. Phil, y'all. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I done been back and forth, left to right. You know what I'm saying? I done seen a female on the left. I done seen one on the right. I'm just saying, don't try to paint this picture as if you don't know what the thumbnail's about. The YTC does not stipulate boxing requirements. Once again, the YTC does not stipulate any boxing requirements. For those of you that know and understand how limited of a prerequisite it is to get your boxing license, you wouldn't be talking about bums. You would just know that bombs are always going to exist because they're going to test you for HIV. They're going to test you for HEP, depending on what region you're in. They're going to do those tests. You're going to get an eye test. Depending on, like I said, what region you're in. You have to do minimal. They're not testing for anything else. They want to make sure the HIV comes back negative, HEP negative, and all that other shit. and then get you an eye test and whatever else requirements. I don't know for each region. What I'm trying to tell you is I've seen guys come in here off the couch, smoking a cigarette after weigh-ins and go in there and compete on cards, and fighters who are building up their record as professionals. They have these couch bums on their record. They have these PS5 players on their record. They have these crackheads, these meth heads on their record. And you know what the record says? Debut, debut, debut. I don't know how I don't know how to explain it to you. You say Thurman. I'll read this though. Thurman never gave Spence a chance in the past. So Spence don't want to fight him now. So they might fight at 154 with no belts on the line. And it's still not even set in stone. Bud fighting all bums. Okay. So I read everything you said. And I'm not sure how it pertains to what I'm talking about. You have to understand this is not grade school level boxing talk. What you put out here, it sounds like something just straight off the playground back in the day, the YMCA, the boys club. You know what I'm saying? It seems like back then when Atari was out. See, I was born with Atari. Like it had a controller with one little stick sticking out, one little joystick, and we played, Tetris and shit like that. It seems like you're still on Atari. But I only had 3 games when I was playing Atari. I was upset. Well, you couldn't really get anything else because there wasn't that many games to go with the game console at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? You come over here like you don't even follow boxing. Now all of a sudden, a sport who takes in boxers out of jail, who takes in boxers with prior, criminal history, a checkered past, right? Take in boxers who don't have to have a basic education. We're taking in individuals who can remediate physical training, who can be taught, who can pass all the tests to be allowed to get their professional license to compete. That's what we're talking about. This is not a like or dislike game unless it's the YTC. You're coming over here whining and complaining about something that's very minuscule at the end of the day. People are not thinking the way you think, brother. You know what I'm saying? If all y'all want to get on here and talk about Bud fighting bombs, all I got to say, hey, look at his resume. Look at his resume. That's all I got to tell you. Look at his resume. I guarantee you're not going to find any opponent on there that says bomb off to the side of it. You know what I'm saying? Johnson say that B-class move, not A-class movements. Crawford versus Spence would have been A-class versus a class fact. Instead of Spence is fighting a B-class fight in Thurman over 2,000 days, only 5 fights. How can he be a B-class and his last opponent was Barrios, who contended at a weight class? Respect to what your comment is now. How can he still be considered a B-class fighter? And he's been inactive for so many days. And he chose to pick a junior welterweight fighter who had 0 fights at welterweight. So I guess there's a PBC stamp of approval that's going on here where you can have fighters from lower divisions, right? Not named Terrence Crawford. That get the check in the box and get approved right away. Because truth be told, right? Mario Barrios in-house. Oh shit. Mikey Garcia. Oh, I get it. See, Terrence Crawford, he refused to sign with PBC, so he doesn't get that luxury. Terrence Crawford doesn't get that luxury to automatically move up to 54 and challenge Jamel Charlo. He doesn't get that luxury. But if you're an in-house PBC fighter, the shit still doesn't resonate to the naysayers because they're going to continue to think that Terrence Crawford walked away from the fight. When it's proven that they want to entertain in-house fights. Floyd Mayweather said the fight wasn't happening. They want to entertain in-house fights and keep control of the belts that they have. So you'll have these individuals debate on panels, the same shit I'm saying. But when it comes to Terrence Crawford, no, man. He's bad for business. He ain't moving right, man. He ain't moving right. The shit he did with Bob Arum, man, no, that was top-ranked Toby over there. He tried to file a lawsuit on Bob Arum. But these are the same people that saying Bob Arum was prejudiced, though. And then he gets out there and file a lawsuit. The shit gets dropped or, it disappears, right? They start trying to attach him to MTK Global. Now, this is shit that's not really pertaining to boxing. This is all over the fucking place, bro. They're not even talking about boxing. They talking about, Crawford may never be able to fight again. Tyson Fury's license been suspended. That's the person you should be talking about. Because last time I checked, Terrence Crawford name didn't come up trying to eat uncastrated boar meat. It wasn't a dude called Mr. Carefoot coming off from the goddamn desolate inside the caves. I just want to let my story be heard. They paid me to say he ate that. He wasn't juicing on his own. I invited him out to the ranch and served him uncastrated. It was my fault. Man, come on, stop it. Stop it, bro. Experts say, what did Spence do to get a Thurman fight? Same thing Thurman did to Spence. Spence is doing boots. Spence is doing to boots. Speak on it. Okay, let's mention something, okay? Because obviously you have some listeners in here that's making a lot of sense. Now let's think about this. I didn't bring up the 54 fight. It's pointless to me to bring that shit up because they're not talking about it. And if I talk about it, it's just a waste of breath to even speak on him not being in shape, him ducking Terrence Crawford, not being ready. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to health, when it comes to the health, when it comes to preserving your body, staying conditioned, you know what I'm saying? Living a healthy lifestyle. He wasn't in shape. If he was in shape, then he wouldn't be fighting at 154. And you remember now, when Crawford supposedly didn't respond immediately back to PBC, he sent out a tweet and he was whining about being in welterweight for so long, you know what I'm saying? Giving the impression that he was going to move up to 154. He put the tweet out there. Now he was whining about, oh man, it's tough fighting at welterweight. Then why did you waste the fans' time acting like you was negotiating a fight when in reality you never wanted to fight? You never wanted this fight. You wasn't in shape. You wasn't motivated. And you absolutely wasn't confident to step in the ring with him. So what happened? People behind the scene knew that. Now let's get to Thurman. Let's get what Expert Genius said, right? Let's get to what Thurman did to Errol Spence. Now you're talking about fighters being entitled. So it's okay for fighters to sit up here and recognize that Keith Thurman didn't recognize the golden child, Errol Spence, when he was calling him out. So Keith Thurman, he didn't duck. He was the unified champion. He didn't give him the opportunity. It may have been a lot of things. All you have to do is look at his inactivity that I went over. I gave you the amount of days that this guy been inactive. He probably had an injury, right? I'm not making excuses for the guy, right? So Keith Thurman didn't fight Errol Spence. Errol Spence holding a grudge just like Charlo is doing to Demetrius Andrade. Nanny boo-boo. I'm going to throw a temper chat and poke my lip out and shit. Now he's a unified champion with 3 belts. And he's on record as saying that he want to duck Keith Thurman because he don't quote unquote like the nigga. He don't like him, y'all. Like. We're talking about liking someone now in boxing, not the hurt business where you went in there and you like the fighter enough to say, I want to see if I'm that good. Like Sugar Ray did when he was outside the ring watching who? He said, I can beat him. I can beat him. I can beat him right there. I can beat him. No, these dudes talking about, I don't like him. I don't like him, man. I don't like that. I don't like that right there. It's a light game. Keith Thurman didn't give it an entitled Spence on immediate shot, which if he had any damn power when he was his own boss, why he didn't make that damn Thurman fight happen? If he was his own boss, he could have went up there. If he had pull, why didn't Al Heyman make that Thurman fight? He's making every other fight in-house. Why he didn't make that fight? So he gets the belts now. He don't want to fight Keith Thurman. All because of what Keith Thurman did way back in the day when Errol wanted to call out, I want Keith Thurman, I want Keith Thurman, I want Keith Thurman. You know, hey, it is what it is, man. This is not a like sport. This is the hurt sport. And also he mentioned Jaron Ennis. Let's see how this is going to play out. Let's see if Boots is going to get his shot at the IBF. And let's see if Spence is going to vacate and get off that title. And I'm not going to put it out there and say, okay, I'm curious to know what the Spencerholics are going to say. The errolsexuals. I want to know what they're going to say if Spence comes off those belts. Because this fight at 154 is the most useless fight in 2023. It is absolutely a trash fight. It's no reason why we should be waiting for this fight to go down. It's pointless. We got two of the biggest names, and Terrence Crawford doesn't even have a fight coming up. And this man is fighting outside the weight division with an exemption, with a therapeutic letter. I wonder how much that shit costs. With a therapeutic letter saying he will not lose his belt if he goes up there and fight Keith Thurman at 154. And where's the fucking outcry, y'all? Where's the goddamn outcry from y'all? Come on, hoes, keep the same energy. Don't be silent now. Where's the outcry with this fight being absolutely garbage, man? Because we have Bud Crawford over there in your weight class, and there's one more belt remaining. Oh, I know why. Because y'all trying to age the man out. You know, Bud is 35. You want to keep on thinking, okay, every day that goes by, he's getting older and older. But what you're not taking in consideration is when you take care of your body the way it's supposed to, and you limit amount of damage and construction that happens inside that ring, then you can fight to a later date. You can fight 5 more years. You can fight 6 more years and go into your early 40s. We've seen it happen before. We seen a fighter like Foreman take a dime off. He take a dime off and come back. Incredible. Incredible. Martin King say, but you big burly fanboy, you can't see. Listen, Martin King, when they talk about all that stuff, how do we separate supporting a fighter? You just support them. How do we separate supporting for a fighter and a fanboy? Those who come over here and they're advocating for a fighter, right? In the process of basically criticizing someone who's talking about another fighter. Like, if you don't really fuck with Bud, why aren't you over here talking about Spence? But see, that's what the errolsexuals do. They come over here and criticize Bud and never say too much about Errol. They don't never say nothing about Spence. It's just projected negativity towards Terrence Crawford. They're not even coming here bigging up Dane Spence because they don't even know what he up to. He's busy on Twitter playing Connect 4 with his audience. You know what I'm saying? Want to play Uno. He don't have too much going on, dog. We just trying to see, can he drop this weight? We trying to see if he gonna be signed up for VADA. We trying to see what's gonna happen with these belts. We want to really know what's lined up for Jaron Ennis. But I just don't see Keith Thurman as being a B-level fighter right now. He's too inactive, and people are not giving the amount of criticism to this fight at 154 than it should be. But yet they still making videos about Bud Crawford every day. You're not content creators at the end of the day. You're influencers. You're TMZ. You're the sub outlets for the Inquirer. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole point. You're not national though. You know what I'm saying? You're the local Inquirer. You know what I'm saying? You're basically held within the confines of the YTC. You're called the local inquirers. All you do is put out gossip, and more gossip. And then you get mad when somebody like me come up here and speak on something, and you it only fuels your rage, and you want to come up, well, your channel, my channel bigger than your. I mean, get out of here with that shit, dog. Your your channel, I mean, come on, it's not all about views and subs now. Make your money, get in where you fit in. But right now, we're talking about boxing. When it boils down to this fight at 154, it's trash. It's pointless. It does nothing for the scheme of things when it comes to the welterweight undisputed. Absolutely nothing, y'all. Absolutely nothing. He said, I'm still disappointed in Bud fighting this C-class fighter, though. If it was a good B-class fighter, I would have expected that at least. But Spence is kind of ahead on Bud on the fighter he's fighting, bro. Not at all. How can you call a fighter that's ranked? How can you co-sign Keith Thurman being ranked where he's at from Mario Barrios? How? How is that, though? Why are y'all criticizing David Avenesian? He's done and gone. You're trying to act like what you've seen Terrence Crawford do in Omaha, Nebraska. He hasn't fought. I mean, like the dude wasn't in rank. Like you haven't never seen another fighter step in the ring with a ranked fighter that wasn't a popular name. I suggest y'all do this. Go in any weight division. Take it down to the top 7 in each sanctioning body. And tell me you rated A+ all the way across from the WBC to the WBO. Prove it to me. Prove that you rate the ranking system of those fighters from number 1 to number 7, with those fighters who have lost recently, those fighters who are foreign fighters, unpopular fighters. Go in any division, bro. Any division. If you can't prove to me from the WBC to the WBO that you rate them an A+ on those top 7 fighters per sanctioning body in each weight class, then how can you sit up here and talk about C-level fighters and we can't get a solid 1 through 15? That's the grading scale, right? That's the grading scale. If you want to talk about rankings, which division, each sanctioning bodies give you 1 through 15, start to finish, A+ roster? None of them. None of them. But yet you're talking about C-level fighters? It's going to be C-level fighters all throughout boxing, because I explained to you all, it's extremely simplistic to be able to pick up your professional license. It's extremely easy to pick up your professional license. I know the legend who is responsible for bringing hundreds, putting thousands of fighters into the sport straight out the hood. And they make weight. Male and females, and they make weight. Y'all need to think about the minimum prerequisites that it takes to get a boxing license, y'all. If any one of you all in my chat wanted to become 1-0, I can make it happen. Without any doubt, I can make it happen. If you all want to get a professional license, I can take you to the correct region, put you on the undercard, get you approved, put you on the undercard, and bring you a bum in there to fight. And you can sit up here on the YTC and boast like, I don't know about y'all, but I actually got a box rec. I'm undefeated right now, God damn it. I don't know what y'all talking about. No, you ain't. You ain't undefeated. Yeah, I am. Absolutely. You want to see the box rec? Let me drop the link. Boom, you drop the link. 1-0. Oh, shit. What was your opponent's record? Oh, shit. 1-44. Your opponent only won once. Oh, it was my debut, dog. Did you see debut right there? Did you see debut? It was my debut, dog. It's boxing. You can come in here, right? You can fight somebody 0-3 in your debut. 0-8. You can fight somebody that don't have no wins in your debut. They may have 10 losses, and you can go in there and fight them. I can find you somebody that's making a debut along with you too. Absolutely, I could. You and him making a debut together, but you're the A side. And you can get that win. You can get that first win. Promise you. I know what regions accept that shit and what regions don't. Plus, it all depends on your age too. We can make that happen. And you on EJ's payroll, you're the one that's trolling. Hey man, I just overlook him. Shout out to the one and only, the Mac Mob on deck. Salute to the Wolf Pack. You already know what it is, man. In the building. He say, love OGWCS, we on deck. Yes, sir, man. Y'all definitely be sure to check out the Mac Mob. You know what I'm saying? He's been known to be an arsonist. You know what I'm saying? His live streams be fire. So definitely check him out. Check out the name, he's a panel intensive channel, and they be talking about some damn good subjects over there. Damn good topics, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Mac Mob in the building. Be sure to sub to his channel, man. Hit the like button on your way in and pass the word. Appreciate you pulling up, Mac. Spence ain't even my favorite fighter like that. Bud, he would beat the brakes off. Bud, that's for damn sure. But listen, you would never find WCS advocating for a fighter like you are over here. It's almost like you're a lost feral child. You're supposed to be in the house right now. It seems like you ran down the street, around the corner, and you up under a tree texting on your phone and shit. Because you're not making sense. You're over here talking about a fighter that you don't support heavy. You just want attention, bro. Nobody goes over here and talking about Spence ain't even my favorite. So what if he ain't your favorite? It must be Bud Crawford then. Johnson say he coming off a lazy boy. For real, they coming off a lazy boy, man. You can get him on a debut. B class is better than C class. But now people are going to say Rocha is a C class fighter as well. The question is, he a C class fighter looking at his box rec, Ortiz is better class than Rocha. Now, any sane individual knows that Ortiz resume is better than Rocha. Any sane, astute, just a semi-astute. I don't care if you went to a Turner's learning school, just to my outside of casual boxing fan knows that Ortiz record is better than Alexis Rocha. But then again, like I said before, I'm glad you brought this up there, Johnson, because once again, we want to speak about so-called C-level, right? What Alexis just fought was a C-level fighter. How many fights did he have in Ghana? Oh, let me back it up a little bit. Let me go back to Emmanuel Tago that fought Ryan Garcia that's about to step in here with Gervonta Davis for the big fight in Vegas this year. Not too long ago, Emmanuel Tago had one loss. Where was all his fights primarily? And y'all want to talk about C-level fighters? That is the format of boxing, people. Get it in your heads. It's the format of the sport. It's no damn laboratory that's going around here cloning hybrid fighters to put in the damn sanctioning body, the ranking structure. They will take over. If they on here on some different type blood type, you know what I'm saying? They operate on some different type of oxygen. They're hybrids. Guess what? They're going to start beating the average. I don't know what y'all looking for. Alexis Rocha just fought a guy. Come on, man. Georgie, he just went in and went 7 rounds with George. A fighter who majority of his fights was in the UK and Ghana. I think he maybe had 2 fights in the UK. And he wasn't a C-level fighter. I don't see the outcry with that, though. Where's the outcry with Alexis Rocha whose claim to fame and momentum is all bladder flare, Cobbs. No one's even speaking about the opponent that he just stepped in with now. Him being a C-level, a Charlie level fighter, right? Nobody's speaking about that shit. But they up here talking about, hey, up next, Rocha. We want to see Rocha Crawford. Oh, that's gonna be a great fight. That's gonna be solid. That's gonna be a test for Crawford. Man, get the look. I don't think he make it out of 5 rounds. Just like Blunt said, dude has limited head movement. Man, he got a lot to work on, bro. You know, at this point, Crawford, the genius that he is, he's really not trying to ruin the careers of these fighters. He will knock your ass out, but he's not trying to ruin your freaking career. Just go out there and destroy you in 1 or 2 rounds. Because, quote unquote, Crawford starts slow as they speak, right? But when he fought David Avanesian, these outlets was trying to say what? What they was trying to say? Oh, Crawford came out the gate and he was really trying to go in there. And it seems like he had some ring rust, but yet he was really trying to box. And David Avanesian gave a great account of himself. And then out of nowhere, Crawford ends the fight. Get out of here, bro. Does he start off fast or does he start off slow? Jesus, man. Eno on deck, salute to y'all. See you in the building. In fact, it's good Bud got a fight deal. But people's gonna look at this as he ducks Spence, gonna turn into a big thing. Let me see. Going to someone, turn to a big thing, going to someone that this is PBC more than anyone in boxing. De La Hoya facts. If they want to talk about the like game, then boxing ain't about liking. But you know who I've heard mention this over and over again? The errolsexuals. They always talking about who like who. Allen is not gonna like Bud Crawford if he comes around and try to negotiate in 23. He don't like him for what he did in 22. Come on, y'all know what it is. Allen know what it is. He's been around for a long freaking time. Floyd said the fight wasn't happening. So if Floyd and Bud Crawford is communicating, what does this like has to do with it? Because he's communicating with Floyd because everybody was up here talking about, oh, Floyd Mayweather knows who the hedge fund is Bud Crawford. He told Floyd Mayweather. But guess what? Wasn't Floyd Mayweather the same one that said what? The fight wasn't happening? But y'all busy up here talking about Bud talking to Floyd? Why aren't y'all on Floyd's helmet and stumping down his throat? Because he said the fight was never going to happen and it didn't happen. But yet y'all sitting up here whining, running around here with your skirts blowing in the wind, talking about, oh, I need some more super chats to get me some new pom-poms. My pom-poms old. I need some lighter, brighter pom-poms. The man said the fight wasn't happening, but all you hear is Crawford. All he had to do was sign the contracts. All they had to do was sign the contracts. Man, we tired of hearing that ABC shit. Timothy Smith came out and told you they didn't have it. Floyd came out twice. All the signs was there. Now it gets to a point of a lack of damn competence, man. Y'all lack the competence to just say, okay, the fight didn't happen because of this. Y'all busy just sitting up here one way, goddamn, one-way traffic. It was Bud Crawford. He just had to sign the contract. 3 contracts, uno, dos, tres. Okay, when was the 3 contracts sent? I don't have all that. You know, we can't determine that. What was on the contract? Oh, we can't determine that. But y'all's up here saying that they gave him everything he wanted. They gave him the transparency. They gave him everything Bud Crawford was looking for. But y'all stuck on this number of 3 contracts, this contract, that contract. Why did boxing scene come out with the info from Steven Espinosa saying that they're concerned that Bud is no longer committed to making the fight because he haven't responded to the final revision? Now, if the fight was going to be fucking made, why in the hell would you send back a final revision if everything was taken care of? And then the word come out that the final revision is 2023. And people up here saying, well, check this out, man. If he was fighting in December, he could have fought in January, February. Listen to what they're saying, people. They thinking this man would have held out in December and the delay happened, he would have been out the ring for easily a year and a half plus. Easily. And then you think Errol-Spence would have came up here and say, oh yeah, he signed a contract, but we ain't fighting no 147. We're going to have to fight at 154. And then, you know what I'm saying, we're going to keep him in the rankings, depending on whoever wins at 154. Oh, so we waiting on whoever wins at 154 for you all to switch up the WBC or whatever's going on, that shit that goes on in boxing that people never want to talk about, the orders, the corruption, the finessing that goes on in boxing. But y'all want to sit up here and talk about 3 contracts and talk about all the other shit that happened that we can't get this fight. Man, people are tired. People are fucking exhausted. You know damn well the worst fight of 2023 at 154 is possibly Spence and Thurman, because the damn fight is pointless, man. We got people being called to the carpet for all the lies. People don't want to give me credit for putting that shit out there. I called it, but it's okay. You don't want to give me credit for putting this shit out there on fake news connoisseur? That's up to you, bro. Andrew Charles on deck. I see you in the building. Roach ain't next, but that wouldn't be bad. I think he's tougher than Ortiz. Might be on deck. I wouldn't be mad at that either. Listen, I disagree with you, Andrew. I don't think Roach is tougher than Ortiz. I like Ortiz. He's very tough, man. I like Ortiz's toughness. You know, he was the one that said, I'm ready to fight anybody. And then Jim Gray was like, you sure? I don't think so. But you go through adversity. You know what I'm saying? Pain is weakness leaving the body, as we call it. You know what I'm saying? You go through adversity, you learn from it. They say the testament of a man is not doing comfort and convenience, but challenging controversy. And being a part of the hurt business, isn't that what makes fighter better? They say, hey, I went through this fight. It was tough for me. That's what makes them better. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They absolutely are, Gary. You can't come over here and dictate the saturated sport of combat and say what title isn't considered a world title. Absolutely a regular title. Canelo Alvarez fought Rocky Fielding for the WBA regular title, and that was his 4th division. So what you're saying is frivolous at the time. It doesn't make any sense. You're not the one that's influencing these sanctioned bodies, nor do you have any type of role play in helping them make those decisions. So you coming over here talking about the WBA regular title ain't a real title. It absolutely is. That's why Tank is a 3-division champion. I have to keep it moving. Mountain King boxers say, Annie, you really tear down the best resume boxer. It's not us being related. FOH. He is a former. Mario Barrios a former. Why would Tank go up there and fight the man if it wasn't for a title? We're not going to go into full effect on how many fighters have fought for a WBA regular title. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to speak about Eris Landy Laura and what title he holding. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do that because that title is absolutely real. It's real. Trevor Bryan, former heavyweight, he was a WBA regular title holder, right? He lost his title to Daniel Dubois. I mean, blame boxing. They don't want to make all these titles, bro. Spence is an A-side fighter. Most of them get their get their way because they put in work who they fight and has beaten everyone that was in front of him. But EJ said he would spin the block. How Bud with Golden Boy now. The only thing I can say about, Errol Spence saying he's going to spin the block. I don't know if it was in the virtual, the meta world, the metaverse, or he was talking about reality. It might have been in the metaverse, bro. Because he the one said he was going to spin the block. Terrence Crawford sent the tweet out, said, what? He sent the tweet out. Y'all don't remember the tweet? Y'all don't remember the tweet? There go the tweet for you. There go the tweet for you. There go the tweet. I'm ready when you want to spin the block. There go the tweet. It's not like Terrence Crawford didn't respond. He got out the ring with David Avanesian. Several days later, he sent out the tweet. I'm ready when you want to spin the block. Just giving you a heads up, that's all. How far can we go with it? He put it out there. Real talk, he put it out there. Mario Barrios never fought at welterweight, but got a title eliminator. His fight at welterweight coming off a loss to Tank and Gary. Hey man. Hey, don't talk those facts, bro. Don't talk those facts, bro. It's gonna make you look like a genius, man. Don't do that. Don't do that, bro. Don't spit facts. Spin the block and add somebody's name in the chat, man. It just tears them down. Like we still early in the week too, genius. You might send this dude on a rampage, man. He can't even go to work tonight. You know what I'm saying? Stop spitting facts. They talking about this guy gonna say some casual shit like the WBA regular title don't matter, but yet this same WBA former titleist was able to go up to welterweight automatically. The unbiased fan, aka Brim Reaper. Help me understand, where you're going with that. I'm not sure. I didn't see your other comment. Are you directing that at me or somebody else that was in the chat? I'm just trying to catch up with these. The Exo Factory said, Aiden, you don't have to be related to Bud. Just look at all the facts in front of you, bro. I'm telling you, they the only ones that can go up here and they're errolsexuals and they don't even talk about Errol. They talk strictly about Bud. How does that work? Look, Bud supporters talk about Bud and errolsexuals talk about Bud. So what's going on? Where's the deficiency lie? What happened? How did they get infected, bro? Are we to blame for that too? How did they get infected? How are we responsible for you coming over here, supposedly pretend that you're an errolsexual, right? But you're talking about damn Bud Crawford all the time. Why aren't you talking about how good Errol Spence is? What he's been doing over the past several months? You just can't wait to see him step in the ring with Keith Thurman. I mean, talk about him. Y'all spend too much time talking about Bud. You know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to be PBC advocates, but you're dogging out. You're not even damn showing any courtesy in speaking on the fighters at PBC. You're busy spending most of your time talking about fighters elsewhere. Shout out to the wrench game. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not just up here, you know, spanking them on the hand. hey, hey, I say that, then I see Gumbo over there put his ass on timeout. Hey, unless he was saying some trolling shit, man. Hey, let him breathe. Let him live, Gumbo. Hey, maybe the longer he stay out here, you know, a free man, he'd get that sucker shit out of him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He's over here being a sucker tonight. Kavaleski was a solid win. So Golden Boy has to honor Crawford by 2-fight contract guarantees. I just want to see him continue to get these fights out the way. Like, I'm not past Crawford-Spence, but I'm pretty much putting it aside. It's not in the recycle bin just yet. It's close. I'm just putting it over there, letting it fester. And then I just want to pay attention to the fights that he can possibly make. Look, y'all, Aiden had to go look at more lies and try to come back with a topic. Man, you ain't lying, dog. You confused because that's what you are, dog. You confused in life. Don't put that off on me that you confused. You came over here confused. You the same one that was up here talking about. Oh, I'm not a Errol Spence is not my favorite fighter, but yet you're advocating for him to basically blemish the name of Bud Crawford and everything he's doing in boxing. I get it. That's what the errolsexuals do, man. They always talk about Errol's not my favorite fighter, but yet they over here talking about Bud. So how are you linking Bud Crawford up in the sport? Why are you so hateful against Bud Crawford when Errol Spence isn't your favorite fighter? You're not making any sense. Why advocate and waste your time in life that you can't get back just advocating for air? You're showing that you're a true casual or a temporary, whatever the case may be. That's even better reason to fight him. You don't like him. Thurman don't like you. This fight should have been happening now. That is happening. Why not build up? Why not the build up would be good. I don't know Thurman talks. I know a lot of people been, we all know Keith Thurman can talk a good game. I got respect for Keith Thurman. He talks a good game there, Johnson. Real talk. Thurman talks a good game. So, salute to Thurman. But he's been inactive, bro. He's been inactive for a long time. I don't give a damn who he didn't give a title shot to, because I find a lot of black fighters holding grudges against fighters. I don't see this with European fighters. I don't see this with Mexican fighters. When they have grudges with one another, they fight one another. I don't know what's going on with my brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? If you dislike another brother and you're trying to challenge him, it used to happen back in the day. They didn't like each other. They stepped in the ring and fought. Now it's this petty ass. Oh, I don't like you. You're not as popular. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna make sure my advisor don't do business with you. I never seen such petty wagon type shit, dog. Like, this is boxing. This is the hurt business. But yet we got people up here to I don't like him. Why? Oh, well, 8 years ago, we supposed to have a deal and things didn't go right because, man, come on, dog. How many years you gonna hold Andrade to the fire? I hope to God he get that fight coming up. We got brothers holding grudges. Pay attention to what I'm saying. This is internally, primarily to black fighters, bro. holding grudges against one another, won't fight one another. Now, that doesn't go for Deontay Wilder, of course. I'm just saying, take it down a little bit to the middle divisions. Prime example, welterweight division. You know what I'm saying? Prime example, the super welterweight, middleweight. He like them strawberries there, XO. He like all flavor. He like them joints dip, boy. You know, you put them in there juicy. He like to let them joints sit and get real juicy. Put the damn chocolate, the white chocolate on there, the caramel. Yeah. You can tell when them strawberry seasons, them pharaohs run over here after eating them strawberries, they just be acting all sweet and sensitive. Money and Keon are certified Bud haters, stamped and notarized. Hey man, I told them over there, they already know that they're stamped and approved as Bud haters. They know that. They know that. They embrace it. They embrace it. You know what I'm saying? But they're not the only ones though. Just to come up, even I don't come up with just everyday stuff that I can come up with Spence. I talk about Bud. The errolsexuals talk about Bud. So if the errolsexuals are talking about Bud, who's talking about Errol? I mean, come on now. Who's talking about him? How are you going to build this fight up? And then if we're going to get Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, why aren't they talking about Errol Spence, Keith Thurman? I mean, why aren't you talking about Errol Spence, Keith Thurman? Shouldn't that take a little bit of your time? You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, let's talk about y'all. Y'all definitely can't be giving me the power. I know you ain't giving WCS the power to say, oh, I'm gonna continue to put content out. You know, we're gonna all group up together. Wonder Twins activate and keep on putting out smear campaigns on Bud Crawford. Don't do it because of me now. I'm not gonna entertain that shit all the time at all. Whenever I want to talk shit, I'm gonna highlight Bud Crawford first. I'm not gonna do like y'all. I'm not gonna go, oh, let me talk about Spence. There's nothing to talk about. He ducked. Y'all know he ducked. And he can't even make weight no more. So let's see how these titles go. Is he gonna vacate? Is he gonna abort mission on his damn unification quest? I hope not. WCS trash fight. You really feel that way about this fight? This fight should have happened. Belt or no fair belt. The big names do count. So you would consider Terrence Crawford a big name if he was in ownership of all those inactive days? Would you still bless him with that respect to say he's a big name? Or you would say, well, he doesn't seem like he's totally focused on the sport. He's been out. He really haven't been fighting nobody. And truth be told, he just fought a guy who never had a fight at welterweight, who was a former champion at 140. Would Bud Crawford get the same respect if he fought a Mikey Garcia for 135? I don't think so. He wouldn't get the same respect. Absolutely not. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have got the same respect. I say this is a trash fight because us, the fight fans, Johnson, was entirely focused on two names. That's it. Two names, one fight. We didn't get it. So now you're trying to tell me you're going to keep Keith Thurman in the rankings and you have to determine who wins the fight and how you massage that ranking system over there. That tells me the boxing politics is at the forefront once again. It's at the forefront once again. We was focused on two names, one fight. That's what we wanted to see. We didn't want talking about, oh, let's just have a free fight. We ain't coming off the fucking pandemic. This ain't the pandemic where people was like, fighting in the bubble and they couldn't go outside. They didn't really go to the gym. No, we passed that. So how in the hell are we supposed to praise this fight at 154, man? And appreciate you interacting, man. Appreciate you interacting. Everyone that's in here that's engaged in the subject, salute to you. Jay said, I got tired today. I got tired today, shawty. They was ranked 2 in the WBA. Hey, y'all cats up here taking what I said about the errolsexuals. That means you're errolsexuals. If you're not an errolsexual, don't take it personal. Come on, man. Don't be acting like I was speaking directly to you. You making yourself look crazy out here, man. If somebody say a bud sexual, that don't have nothing to do with me. I ain't mad. I'm pro Bud moving to 154. So if the fight happened, then I'm cool with it. So check this out, Andrew. So it won't be hypocrisy, right? Because if I say I'm cool with Bud moving up to 154, this is why I'm cool with it, because he's going up there for a purpose. All right? He's going there for a purpose. I don't see any purpose at 154 with 2 welterweights going to 154 for a GP fight, a general purpose fight. Why are they going to 54? For GP? The 2 names, 1 fight was at welterweight. It wasn't at 154. It wasn't at 154. What are they going up there for? So you're trying to say, oh, we're going to have this fight at 54, and then it gives Spence enough time to drop weight back down to 47. Hold up. I was hearing some live streams talk about individuals that has lost weight and is not healthy. The fighter's depleted of water on the brain. Is this the case with Errol Spence? Because I hear people in one sense saying Errol ain't moving back down to 47. If that is the case, he should vacate, right? And just make this fight him and Thurman. And then I hear that oh yeah, he gets this fight with Thurman, and then it's a rematch in there. So if he's gonna fight Thurman again, there's no need to continue to talk about Bud Crawford. If they sign a 2-fight deal and he's gonna fight Thurman twice, why are we still talking about Bud Crawford fighting a C-level fighter? Because Errol Spence obviously don't want to step in the square with him. So once again, Bud Crawford can do what the hell he want to do. Carry on with his career. Fight another fight at 47 or fight a fight at 154. Every time Bud Crawford's mentioned a name to challenge himself, he said, I want to fight Jermell Charlo. What did they say? Al ain't going to let you do that. Al ain't going to let you. Okay, so if Al ain't going to let him, it's not going to let him fight for the undisputed titles. You know what I'm saying? At 154, a fight that people really want to see. Then y'all should just digress from the entire topic that Bud is ducking anybody, because he called out Errol Spence and he called out Jermell Charlo. And guess what? Both of them fools want to sit up here and say, he ain't fighting Jermell Charlo if I ain't fighting. Man, come on. Strawberry season. I thought we was damn in the hurt business. Now it seems like we're in the jerk business. Oh no, he ain't gonna fight him. That's my boy. That's my, me and him cool. We from the same hood. Nothing but brothers saying this shit. We from the same hood. What about making money? Everybody want to jump on what Mike Tyson said. I said that shit months and months ago about them fighting each other. Mel Charlo and Errol Spence fighting each other, making millions. But Mike Tyson said, oh, yeah, they should. But nah. They're in the same side of the street. Oh, so it's okay for everybody else to be on the same block, but not them, because they under Derrick James and they fight on the same freaking gym, world-class boxing gym, right? I get it. Shout out to Jones Jr. in the building. People complain about Bud fighting a mandatory. I know, right? But look at this, Jones. They complain about him fighting a mandatory, but they refuse to speak on Spence. Where's his mandatories at? Oh, they want to go back to Carlos Ocampo. I got it. Then they want to go to Danny Garcia. Yeah, I got it. They don't really talk about that. how he's been floating around here and no one wants to talk about his absent, his tardy mandatories. I get it. Stamp the owner's resume next to David's and tell me who's the bum. Can't no boxer just sit on the couch. I told WCS 2 years ago, let me know when the first punch. You're right. I ain't gonna lie. Dion did say that shit. He has stayed on par. God damn it. He has stayed on par with that. He said, let him know when the first punch is thrown. He never said anything other than that. That is absolute fact, bro. Let me know when the first punch is thrown, and God damn it, no punches are thrown yet. I can't let you know, Dion. I can't let you know, Shouty. You know what I'm saying? Ain't the type that when the link is dropped will stay in the chat and hide behind the keyboard. Hey, most of the time these casters over here just getting attention because they are ghost, they are Casper pundits for channels that has been on the front end of my arrows. So they come over here on the fake names, just trying to talk. If you click on their motherfucking name, they don't have no content on their channel. You know what I'm saying? That most of the time they just created the channel. I don't even waste time, dog. DL said we just saw a dude 796 and 1. That's a superb. Come on, stop it, bro. With 1 KO this weekend, I could have got him out there. Hey, bro, I feel you, Dion. Hey, look at this shit. Hey, Dion, they want to talk about Crawford fighting C-level fighters, right? But I try to explain to them how it works in the sport, right? All we have to do is take a little peek at this right here. Because I always said this, I should just have a live stream dedicated to those individuals who have extremely losing records. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to bring up the Donnie Pendletons or the Reggie Stricklands. It's way more fighters out there. Now peep this out. Where you at? I know you out here. Hold on. I know y'all boxing astutes out there will figure this out. But check this out. Look at that. Look at those stellar names right there. Ooh, and they talk about Crawford fighting C-level fighters, but yet they don't ever want to mention those other names because they're not as popular. But I'm telling you, it's fighters out there like this now. Tommy Fury, we know he's still in the single digits. But look at those, 10 and 113 losses, y'all. This guy has the look to say, I know what I'm here for. I play my role. I'm coming here to take a check. So go ahead, land that big punch. I'm out there. 0 and 35, y'all. 2 and 41. 0 and 46. 0 and 24. Dear Heavenly Father, they just don't understand the scriptures of this holy sport. They don't understand what the scriptures are told them over and over, years and years and years, man. It's easy to get a boxing license. This sport is full of ragu cans. But they just want to talk about it when it comes up to this level. And they pick and choose a fighter they want to point the finger at. I get it. This is what I want. WCS puts the points out that make sense. This is why I say these things. For unto tell me or make good points on these fighters. But I'm just going to say my opinion on it. That's all. Man, no doubt. And you have every right to place your opinion, man. It's boxing orientated. It's conducive to the topic. Hey, do your thing, man. Do your thing. Roaches rank higher than Boots. We know if Boots fought Rocha, it's not going to be the same as him fighting Korean Chudikin. We definitely know that, bro. Ranking systems, remember this, people, it's all about who you connected to. Okay? It's not so much the work, the body of work that you put in the rankings. It's all about who you connected to and and your what they call it, your vehicle, the vehicles that you with to get you up the ranking system, the money. It's all about money in the ranking systems. That's it. It's all about money. You want to pay for those subtitles. You know what I'm saying? You get the titles, those secondary, thirdary titles. You want to get those titles and work your way up the ranking systems. You can. Gooch on deck. I see you. As much smack as Keith Thurman talks, and as well as he promotes himself, he has yet to say anything about this fight. Let's post that. Factoids. Dion say he lost the money in the fight vacating. Appreciate that, Andrew. He says, salute to everyone who smashed the like. Salute. Appreciate everyone who smacked the like. Appreciate you. Yeah, man, I just didn't want to make it about losing records because I'm gonna have to do a separate live on that because these guys want to talk about C-level fighters when, look, it's people out here getting paychecks all the time. So if you take one of those fighters on Tommy Fury's record and pay attention and go down there, I'm pretty sure a handful of your favorite fighters may potentially be on their record. May potentially be on their record, man. I met a fighter that was making his debut at one point in time, and now this dude is like 0-15 or 0-16. He's just fighting for a check. Good guy, very good guy. I seen him when he was making his debut. They had high hopes for him. He's like 0-15, 0-16. I don't know for sure, but he's up there, and he can box. That's the crazy part about it. It just seemed like he has taken ownership of his role to be a B-side, to be the opponent, and that's it. He don't want to pick up no winning record. He don't want to. He seemed to be doing very well for himself too, man. You know who you is. Salute to you, brother. Shout out to Major Key Boxing in the building. Salute to you. Tommy Fury has a complexion for the connection to receive protection. I want to know how far that protection. And listen, I'm going to put it out there again like I put it out there for the first one. All right? Peep this out. I was trying to tell people when they were saying Tommy Fury is going to step in and fight Jake Paul, they was just using his name. And they were using his name. At the last minute, he was pulled from the fight and Tyrone Woodley stepped in. Tyrone Woodley was already training for the fight, right? Okay, so now we come to another point where they're building up Tommy Fury. They had Jake Paul come in the ring and they was facing off and talking trash to one another. We got that. But let me warn you again. This fight may not happen. Tommy Fury may again find some way to pull out or the fight don't happen. And they have Platinum Mike Perry. Yeah, you know the one that used to fight in the UFC? Yeah, you know the one that's in BKFC? The one that they love seeing fight because he's blood of guts? Yeah, he's the standby opponent to step in there and fight Jake Paul. Now, this has been inching away over and over again. I mean, time and time, this has been inching behind the scenes, you know, because people know Platinum Perry. He fought my boy Mike Seals, man, in the triad combat. You know, Mike Seals was kind of telling me about the whole deal on Mike Perry doing some things that he learned in mixed martial arts in the clinch. You know what I'm saying? And we was all at the American Top Team down here, and June Carroll was actually showing certain clinching techniques on the inside because in triad combat, you can actually clinch behind the head and punch. You know what I'm saying? You can actually clinch your opponent behind the head and punch. But anyway, Mike Perry's fought in the Ultimate Fighter, the bare knuckle fighting, triad combat, and Triller. Now he's a standby opponent for Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. So don't be surprised as Tommy Fury, they use his name to hype this, and something happened. He pulls out again, and then Platinum Mike Perry comes in, and it gets real spicy, bro. It gets real spicy. Because if it's anybody that can sell a fight, that can actually fight is Mike Perry. Mike Platinum Perry. He can fight, y'all. I hope Navarrete show up this weekend after he ducks Shakur. I don't have, Navarrete. I like Emmanuel. His loose free will. Free spirited fighting style. He does some stuff in there that you can't teach in the gym. But man, they really try to put him in there instead of Shakur Stevenson, man, to fight Oscar Valdez. They really tried, bro. Edwards said, I'm finna go pro and fight Bud for my highest payday. You're not going to be able to get him, because you don't have a record. And plus, the commission wouldn't approve him to fight you. You have to understand, the commission wouldn't approve. In certain areas, they will approve a fighter with a losing record to fight a guy that's coming in on the debut. It depends on what region you in. A lot of regions have different rules and regs per the commission. You know what I'm saying? Some of the toughest commission is the New York commission. You know what I'm saying? California commission, Nevada commission. Them some of the toughest commissions. Now, when you start getting to those other regions, then we're talking about something different. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about something different. You might be able to get away with fighting somebody that has all those losses, and you go in there on your debut and fight them and pick up your first win because they're there to be an opponent. Like those guys, the Tommy Furies, they're selected. They have 0 wins. They have 0 wins. They're carefully selected because they know he's not the goods. So if he's not the goods, why are you trying to put him in there with Jake Paul? Remember I told you about Mike Platinum Perry, okay? But man, y'all been cool, man. Thanks to everybody who pulled up, man. I got to bounce. It's going like a little bit over 2. Thanks for everybody that's pulling up on the scene, and support. Thanks for those who pulled up and hit the like button. You already know what it is, man. Sub to the channel, man. We're still trying to get the subscribers up. You know what I'm saying? If you really support WCS, AK World Combat Sports, call sign Kill Roy. Until next time, man. Salute to y'all. Hold it down. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.